Behind me is an electricity generating station. But this is no ordinary power station. There are no tall chimneys here, belching out steam and smoke into the atmosphere, because this is a wind farm. So, how does it all work? Well, it's quite simple and relatively cheap. All you need is a wide open space, a hefty breeze, and lots of these gigantic windmills. The wind turns these huge blades. The blades are connected to a generator. The generator produces electricity, which is then fed into the national grid. It's all clever stuff. But harnessing the power of nature, especially the wind, is nothing new. Windmills have been turning for at least 800 years. These windmills are fairly new, but the one place in the world where you can be certain of seeing an old windmill is Holland. So, let's take a quick trip over there. I've arrived in the province of Groningen, in the northern part of the Netherlands. It's an area about a quarter of the size of Yorkshire, and I simply don't know where to start. My research has revealed that there are 84 windmills in this small area alone, all of them perfectly restored, and most of them still in working order. So, with the help of Emma, I'm going to begin my journey to find them. Who's Emma? Well, she's my friendly satellite navigator. She knows every street in Europe. In fact, she's the only woman I know who knows more than my wife.
Your route is being calculated. You can commence your journey. Please make a U-turn if possible, and then immediately turn right.
Not too many years ago, windmills were the backbone of industry in the Netherlands. Grist mills ground wheat into flour. Drainage mills maintained the water levels. Sawmills cut trees into timbers. Some mills pressed oil from seeds. Others ground pigments to be used in various coloured paints. Paper mills and snuff mills were developed, and tanning mills ground bark for the tanneries. So it's easy to see why windmills played a major part in the working and social lives of the Dutch people.
Please turn right in 100 yards. Please turn left in 100 yards to your destination.
This is the one that I've particularly been looking for. I've got an appointment with the miller at 1 o'clock. It looks like I've arrived just in time to see him trim the sails. He tells me that he's not too happy with the weather. It's the middle of June and a very warm day. There's lots of cloud about, but not a lot of wind. That's the last one safely tied down. Now he's got to turn the sails into the wind. This is most disappointing. I was hoping to film the windmill sawing wood, but unfortunately, today, there's not enough wind to drive the machinery. In the 1800s, there were no fewer than 9,000 working windmills here in Holland, but by that time, the inventor James Watt had designed a steam engine that was so efficient that many of them were being used to pump water out of the tin and copper mines of Cornwall. The Dutch were quick to learn about this new machine and soon began to abandon the wind in favour of steam. It looked as though the days of the windmill were sadly numbered. I've now been driving for about 8 hours, and I haven't yet found a windmill that is actually working. So tomorrow, I'm going to continue my search just over the border in the Niederrhein region of Germany. This morning, I'm heading for the picturesque little town of Xanten.
Please turn left in 100 yards to your destination.
For many people, the most interesting landmark here is the church with its twin spires.
Now turn left.
But for me, it's the old windmill. I'm really surprised just how many windmills there are in this region. This one is 700 years old and was first built as a watchtower. 100 years later it was converted to a windmill and was grinding corn well into the mid-20th century. This is the Ossenberg mill, built in 1470 as a corn mill and now converted to a garden centre and pet shop. I wonder if these are any relation to the mouse that lived in a windmill. Of all the mills that I could have possibly chosen to visit here in Germany, this last one is my particular favourite. Not because of its age, but because of its varied and interesting history. It's in the small town of Kalka. Building began in 1770. And the mill was first used to grind tree bark for the local tannery. In 1880 it was converted to a flour mill and remained so until 1910. Then a steam engine replaced wind power. During the following 35 years, steam was replaced by diesel and then by an electric motor. During its life the mill suffered badly through 2 wars, and from 1945 until 1994 it stood derelict. Then a group of enthusiasts took on the painstaking job of restoring it. The restoration work took 2 years, and a few little extras were added. It now has its own bakery and restaurant, and in addition to this, a small brewery has been installed. People can now spend a very pleasant afternoon enjoying the local food, new baked bread, or freshly cooked donuts, all swilled down with a glass of home brew. The mill is now a national monument and grinds corn regularly. It is reputed to be the largest working mill in Europe. So, we've now come full circle. First the wind, then steam, then the internal combustion engine, and then electricity. And what's driving the generators to produce the electricity? Windmills. I've only had the time to visit a few windmills on this trip, but it's quite interesting to know that due to the work of windmill preservation societies, especially the one in the Netherlands, many windmills have now been restored and are working museums which can be visited by the public. Who knows? One day I might just find the time to visit them all.